Hi, I thought I'd put together a quick video of how I changed out the leather seats in my car. Be warned that when you disconnect your seat, it will set off an alarm that you've disturbed the airbag. So if you don't have a code reader that can reset that, you might need to take it to a mechanic and ask them to reset it for you. These are the tools you're gonna need. You'll need a T50 to pull out the seats, T30, I'll see when I get there, but that is for removing some of the plastic things inside the seat. 10 millimeter, normal trim prying kind of tools. You'll need a seam ripper because yes, there's quite a bit of seams in your way that you'll have to delicately work out. Your wife's very nice fabric scissors. Guys, ask permission before using these. First step is removing these two back bolts. This is where you'll find those fries that you dropped. Remove this little headrest airbag or connection. So that was the trick. I came from behind. It pops out. Move the seat back close to the middle setting. Oh, okay. Pull that out, and that releases the plug. And I can just lift it out of here. But you gotta be super careful because otherwise you'll scratch up your whole interior with these real nasty metal corners. First thing to remove is down here there's two little plastic snaps that hold this in place. So here's what the clip looks like. It's just and I'm just using a trim tool that I put some tape on to try to protect the plastic. This is that clip I was talking about for the headrest. I pull it out and see if it just comes apart like the other ones. Ah, nice. Now, one of the videos I watched online, the guy said, all you do is just grab really hard and just yank up. And I did that and it busted this clip off right here. So no offense to that guy, but I recommend you don't do it that way because I had to buy that. Gently pull off this cap here. Once that's up, then you can see how the little spring works and you can pull the spring out of the way and then it will slide off nice and easy. And you can just do that. What I'm doing is I'm putting this screwdriver down here and I'm feeling for the little tab. All right, finally came out. Until I could get to this tab and I pushed, and while pushing on it, I'm kind of prying up and eventually comes out. A little bit of success there. I am super nervous doing this. All right. So the clip I couldn't get to was right here, and I had to get to it with the pick tool from the top side, or kind of from the side. But anyway, clip here, 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 here. Here was a hidden one I couldn't really see, but thankfully it relented. Ouch. And you'll need to keep that little piece of plastic for the next seat. The next seat will come with this little strap, and you'll just kind of make your own hole and put it in there. This guy, little plastic clip here. I try to keep it intact. Will not come off unless you disconnect it from that power seat. There we go. Just took a little force. That comes out like that. And you have to pull both those out just so you can route the cord through this hole here and get this piece finally off. And if I can't get it, I'll just get my pick tool or screwdriver in here. No doubt gouge my fingers in the process. Now, the reason I'm doing this, these seats look fine probably on camera, but what happened is I got this car from an abandoned seizure auction, and they had left the windows down when this car was seized. The leather had got rained on and dried, and it shrunk way down. So it's like hard as a drum. So each one of these clips just slides off a lip. Got to separate these, they're in a little track. Okay. That's what the 10 millimeters for. Got to do that to remove the airbag. All right, so this is the airbag component, and to get the rest of it out, I gotta come at it from the bottom. Mine goes brown first, then small black, and then a bigger black. Oh yeah, and one goes into here too. Pull the harness out of the metal bracket. This is what I meant, is I relieved that tab, and this module is sliding out. This slides out. I don't plan to take them all out. They're shaped in like a Tetris way that they can only go back one way. Headrest airbag, also pull that out. And it's maybe a little intimidating if you're gonna get these wires back the way they were, but not essential that it's perfectly routed. You know, there's these clips all over the place. And so just put them back. Pay attention to how this flap lays here, because it'll matter when we install the one from LC. It'll look a little different, but they still provide the same flap. There's the airbag now taken out. That one looks just like this. And it goes right into the metal here in this little hole. I really didn't want to have to go and buy an aftermarket heating element. And that's what made this job so much harder. So I wanted to reuse the BMW one. All right, it's free. This is the seat warmer cord. And you think you could just like peel this off and pull it out, but nope, not so fast. It's all of this is attached using wires and hog rings. So what you need to do is get your wire snips down there and start clipping every one of those hog wires. Damage your, okay, so I cut it, pulled out the hog ring, tried to grab the little bit that cut off as well, because I don't want to have that bouncing around in the foam, causing me problems later on. So now we're entering the tedious phase of the job, and this is like a good time for a time lapse. So I will stop talking. All right, pause here for a second and say, after I released these hog rings up here, I run into the first crossbar, I'll say, right there. And that has 3 hog rings going horizontal, or yeah, going across. So if I start yanking too quick, then I'll tear that foam. So I've decided to stop here, get this crossbar, and then keep working down the height of the foam. But now foam comes out. This is the heating element. It is 100% integrated into this seat. So in order to take out the heating element, which is here, 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 and these 2 side bolsters, rip a number of these seams, which is tedious, rather than ripping all these seams around the side here. So you can cut next to it here, because you're not going to be sewing this into the new one. But there's these little wires all throughout here, and you really have to be careful where they are, because I accidentally cut a few of them, and it makes it a nightmare because you got to try to solder stuff back. There were parts I couldn't repair on the bottom seat of my passenger, so like the side bolsters I ended up having to cut out. This is 2 layers. Like there's a layer of fabric on here that's not even the heating element, and then the heating element underneath that is. So I made a few cuts, and now you can see what I'm talking about. Like, so you see on the back side here. So those are the wires I really don't want to hit. I got really close right here. when we go to put it in the new seat, you know, I might not need as much of these flaps. So we'll see. In fact, I'm not going to need this at all. This will go away because the new L-seat ones have this already sewn in. And this is really the only layer that I need. And in there, that's what the actual seat heater element looks like. It's, I don't know enough about it, but it's some sort of wire mesh with fiber sewn in. So it's super tolerant to abuse, I'll say. Like they sewed all these seams straight through it, all the way to the other side of the seat. Actually, I'm gonna cut even up here because I wanna be able to loop, have these go through the new seat and kind of help it to not slowly fall down over time. I want to have like this kind of line up right here, and I'm gonna have to rip this seam to make it, and cut there. There we go. You know, you can keep pulling and it makes some progress, which is cool, but what you can also do is flip this over. You can see it coming through there that I've already ripped. There we go. Oh, see, satisfying. So that's one, and it doesn't, you know, it doesn't seem like you got through when that happens, but you really did. See how that just, this is the thing that holds the little metal wire. Oh, that was good. Those came out. There's still some more seams going through here, but I know that they're not going to be too difficult. And they do make aftermarket ones, so if by this point in the video you're saying, holy cow, that's way more work than I want to do, I don't know, you might try buying an aftermarket one and seeing if it all uses the same 12 volts, maybe it's all the same. So I'm going to take a Sharpie and I'm going to mark the spots I really want to be careful about, like right here. I need to cut a line here so that I can put hog rings through. And I need to cut a line here too. But I absolutely don't want to accidentally cut this. The other side had that plastic clip. This one, nub that you hook the leather on. I don't know why. This is so ridiculously tight. So on the new one, it's a little loose. You have to separate the foam from the metal here. And so since mine is glued down, I just worked my fingers in there and just kind of slowly peeled it away. Okay, so that's separate. And because I disconnected all those plugs earlier, it just pops right out. There's a hog ring here and here, and it's like just going into the foam. It's not connected to any wire. Hey, that was the one. I don't want to mix these up with upright seat. A light back behind this thing. Okay, so I see some wires there. I know that there's wires that go through here because I've cut them before. That there's wires that go up here. And then I know there's a wire that goes up around here and loops back, and I've cut it before, and once you cut it, it's just gone. Okay. So you can see the wires go in, they go separate, cross over this line here, and then they go along the bolster side. Bunch of wires here that I just got to be careful of. Okay, let's see how I did. Oh, okay, I came pretty close right there. Yeah, I left a little bit in the middle there to give it a little more structure. I don't think it matters. Here's what comes from that seat. This would be awesome if I didn't have seat warmers and I just had to throw this on. But this would have been like a super quick job. But it's not, because I gotta, well, you saw everything I just had to do. But now I have to attach it here and stitch it little by little in certain spots. Because coming back later to make that little incision would be hard. Cool. This has got the advantage of these two holes that are going to hold it in place. So I don't really need to tack much here. I'm just going to put a spot right here. I'm going to do it like 5 times. If you over tie it, it'll get bunched up. And since this one doesn't have those like gaps like this one did, I have to account for extra material because I don't want it to be where I sit on it and now this is like tight as a drum. So I'm gonna I'm over exaggerating, but I'll leave a little extra. I usually use the 1/2-inch ones because these just seem the 3/8 just seemed a little too small. I bought this kit on Amazon. It came with the pliers and 3 different sizes, and I found that the 1/2-inch worked best. But I recommend, if you can find it, find the rings that have sharpened tips like BMW had, because I mean that'd make my life so much easier because it would just cut through the fabric right when you clamp it in. It makes it doesn't work if you have blunt ends. So what I have to do was grab my pick tools, small, big, and I just go along and I find where I'm going to have to put the hog rings, which is, 1, 2, 3. Hey, it's okay, buddy. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I just grab one of these scraps that came off the seat earlier, and I'm just going to use it and make little marks about where the hog rings are going to go. So I just made those marks, and now I know that my hog rings are going to be about here. This bar is inside one of these sleeves. It's black on the new seats, and I have to get underneath that and make a hole so that there's a hole ahead of time in this. Thankfully that fabric's pretty easy to get through. I'm giving myself extra wiggle room. So can I still find that hole? Yep. Sits down in there like that, and then you just try to get that into one of the holes you've made. I was doing it wrong, well, not wrong, but before I was like fishing this through the hole, and then I would come in and try to get at it like this, and that worked, but really the way I think you're meant to use it is like this. So I'm gonna try to do it right from the beginning this time. See? Yeah, I'm gonna do it the wrong way again, because at least that lets me find the hole. Push down, so then we cut around that. So see, now it's been hooked on it, it just hasn't been like clamped. Ooh. So I don't know if that showed, but basically it's wrapped around. So now, this bar is starting to look pretty. Aha. I do believe that was the last one. To attach to nothing, like how is that? Maybe did they just bunch it and bite on there? I'll just go look back at the photo or the video. But it would be cleaner, I guess, if I got that tucked around. Got the first one started, did the backwards thing. Backwards meaning I fed it in with some pliers instead of going in straight attack. All right, last one. All right, well, like that, but it has to fit inside this little pocket here. The other thing is there's this little pouch here that you also have to care about because it clips on. L-Seat made it also, and they have it black, and so it routes through the inside of that hole. And my belief is that its purpose is if the airbag goes off, then your seat will blow out. The other one went over these holes, so I'm going to poke holes in the fabric. I don't know if it's showing up very well. Let me get a clip that there. And so now there's this flap laying here. I'm just going to tuck that through. And it doesn't go perfect. You know, it's not made by the factory. It creates a little bit of a problem later when you go to put the back on the seat. These rails that slip in here, and since it's not the factory plastic, it doesn't perfectly fit. And then remember, these are reversed. It's a little different than the factory one, which had a perfect track that this part would slide into. I don't think they have that there at L-Seat. They don't have that exact part, and maybe it's not a standard part. So they make it happen another way, which seems to work for me, or worked on my other seat. Okay, when you lay this down, it doesn't have a way to really fit in there. So I use this edge here to hook in there. I set this in the sun for just a minute to try to warm it up so that this is a little more flexible. Because again, it just like fights you the whole way. Because if you look at the frame here, that bend, it can bend like that, but it can't bend this way. I'm gonna put a cut where you see that little stress point is, make it like a pizza shape. I do the same on this side here. I had to do a little bit of a rig job, and so I had to drill a little hole here and put a hog ring in just to hold the plastic in place. Okay, so now that gives me a little more flexibility. And there was one clamped here, because it's in this like mesh stuff that's part of the foam, so hopefully it won't tear away from the foam. Pulling this out till I can see these clips we'll be able to hook on here. All right, it's still kind of fighting me. So finally got it down in the track right here, but if I let it go, it kind of just comes out. Like I said about the Volvos in my house, this just kind of, you sit on it, it comes dislodged, and then you always have this thing flopping around loose. Drives me crazy. This is also going to be a part of the seat that will never be seen. There we go. That must have been going through 2 layers. There we go. Not super beautiful, but it holds it in place. That is fighting me hard. I'm gonna have to use a heat gun. Oh, see, now it surrenders. Okay, so definitely the key is use a heat gun. Is that supposed to go like that? It sure seems like it would. Feels a lot better, huh? Well, I guess you can't feel it, but a little better. Yeah. See? Better. See how the wire is going underneath those springs? Obviously it's not supposed to be that way. That was just because when you put it in, there's too many things to manage at once. Route it through here, because it's ultimately going to go into this thing. Remember, it slides in on the edge. See, it just slides in there, and then you have a full plug here. I'm going to attach this little strap here. Okay, so I made a hole, slip that through, put it on there. Looks like it was made by the Germans. This one just has a little hook, like through here. Two connectors. Okay. This goes down in this little channel here. Yeah. They got their problems for sure, but it is satisfying to work on them. Have things click into place and be tight and not rattly. So I'm using that piece I pulled out earlier as my template. I'm gonna ask my son to hold it in place. All right, just go draw holes here with the paint pen. See it poking right there? So, no, I'm not far off. My wife had this idea for how to do this kind of star-shaped cut. Need to cut that canvas layer. The left side, if I remember right, was the button. Put it back where it was. Here. Satisfying click. Slide that down the hole. So you just find the little tab here and line it up with that little notch here. Like that. And then the whole thing clicks in there. Okay, that should work. I think I found that if I roll this all the way up, then the bars aren't in the way of these things. These were, I think, like $1 each or 50 cents each, so I just got a whole bunch in case I screwed up. I think we're almost done. Put it in the sun, which thankfully it's nice and hot today. I'll set this in the sun and we'll put some heat on it and then spray it with water and try to suck up some of these wrinkles. Misting it with water bottle, and obviously this terrifies me because that was the problem with my original seat. Wow. Got the headrest airbag, and then this slides back in there, and remember it's got this little black pleat piece that as you push this way on the yellow, the black comes in. Slide them both at the same time. There's still going to be these. I don't think they'll go away. I don't actually mind. Sensors, or after disconnecting all those plugs, the airbag detects that you've disturbed something. And so BMW wants you to take it to a mechanic to clear that, make sure everything is safe. Well, I don't want to do that. So what I did is I used it's a really cool device, but if you don't have one of those, I think you can use one of these cheaper Bluetooth type code readers. I just don't know for sure, because I know some of the airbag stuff they really don't want to make easy for you to clear. Started the app and it found no issues. So like on the passenger seat it had a airbag warning. I'm not having that problem, so I don't know what to say. I don't know if one of these lower cost ones would work for you, or if you're going to need a better one. Here it is, about a week later. Most of the wrinkles have gone away. It's kind of smoothed out with the warm weather. Nice and soft. Overall, it took me about 7.5 hours to do the driver's seat, and the passenger seat took me much longer because I didn't have a system yet. But yeah, if you're going to take this on, plan for it to take a lot of time and maybe break it up. Do the passenger seat first and then get to the driver's seat, since you can still drive the car while you have the passenger seat out. But it takes a lot of time and it may not be worth it for you, or maybe be more worthwhile to pay someone to do it. But if you have time and don't want to spend more than $350 for some new leather seats, then I recommend it. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you. Bye.